Hi, my name's Steve Rogers, and I shall call it Europe. See, we stumbled upon this place, and it looks very habitable. There's water everywhere. There's a very diverse topographic system. But I'm going to focus on this area, what I'm going to call Europe. It is very different from all the other places. As you can see, there is not a whole lot of transition in color. Most of the area looks to be green, which is probably supported by nice amounts of water. So comparatively, from looking around, it was really green. And I had come up with these questions that I could probably investigate a little bit more and get a good understanding of how it is. But, is the location of my region in a better spot, where it's not and doesn't get intense sunlight, where everything dries out? Is the temperature much lower where the water can actually stay on the surface? And is it even measurable? Well, with this fantastic computer systems that we have on our spaceship, I can actually zoom in and see some of this water that's on the area. So I know there's a lot, and as you can tell, there's all these little green and light blue areas, and that all signifies water. And I just found one small place really quickly to look at, but if you look all over, there's actually lots of amount of water. So for the topographics, using this fancy equipment that we have on our spaceship, there is a whole lot of there's a lot of deviation between the region, with some of the lowest elevation, of course, being sea level, and the highest elevation that I could calculate was around 15,000 feet, closer to 16,000, and I sort of looked at the area and compared it, and it was close to 2% of the planet, and that's about 3.95 million square miles. So what I'm going to do is use that same equipment we did, and we're going to go and take a look at it a little bit closer. This is the highest spot that I found in my region, and that's close to the 16,000 mark. And if you look out in the distances, it's not flat. The elevation is very high. There is huge ridges coming up everywhere. So this area is prime for holding all this water. And as you can see, it's actually got to be pretty cold because this is actually ice that has formed on the mountain. So I guess the area does get quite a bit of water, like I had thought it had. So in order for this Earth to work, or planet system, or whatever you want to call it, I'll stick with Earth. It's easier to have a name for something. The easiest way to do this for setting up a time and grid system is use a 24-hour system. I don't see any reason why we need to have some complex thing. So what I'll do is I'll create a time system where, and I think most of the other people had agreed on the ship that the clock will start at one spot and everybody will start at the same time, and that makes it work for everybody. And to also accommodate this, in order to navigate your way around this Earth place, we're going to need some lines to establish where we're at. So we have an equator that cuts north and south, and then to cut east and west for each side, we're going to work with 180 degrees. Makes it a little easier. So we'll come up with a prime meridian and an international date line. So I'm going to take this international date line and put it exactly 180 degrees from the most western tip of my country. I mean, region, whatever. It's my place now. That's why I'm calling it Europe. Alright? So we're just going to start there, east and west, from both directions of that line. You really only need one, but makes navigation a little bit easier. Alright, and then, there's some other observances that I sort of looked at, and I thought it was pretty prime, with the location, there's lots of curves, and there's quite a bit of shoreline that can easily be traveled. You look at some of these other regions, and the regions are huge, and there's not a whole lot of shoreline compared to the amount of square miles they have. So my area is not only nice looking, but it's also pretty easy to navigate. And the area is it's fairly thin, not like the one below mine, where you can travel easily. And look at us having a world if you can't venge wars on somebody. And I think mine is pretty prime for having a nice, solid offense and defensive system. Hey, who knows what could happen. Thank you for watching my video. I'm Morgan Free.